as you're obviously the German correspondent, it felt right
Oh,
to speak about Porsche, because obviously going into the weekend, right? Porsche were the favourite. Everyone's like, Porsche so good here, they're amazing, and then you got to practice. Dennis is quick, Verline's quick, and then we get to qualifying and it doesn't go that way. But Verline gets himself, misses out on the jewels obviously, but gets himself with his first attack mode, takes his first attack mode really, really early, and gets himself up to first and second with Muller there. And at this point in the race, I don't know what your opinion is and what your thoughts are on this, but when they're 1 and 2, I thought straight away, I went, Muller can win this. All they needed to do was allow Muller to take his first attack mode and then control the race. And then, I know what Jaguar did in Monaco, but I know it's tighter and harder to overtake in Monaco, much easier it is in Mexico. But they could have tried to have been a bit more strategic to sort of, keep the lead essentially of the race, right? And maintain it and try and have some element of control. But they didn't do that. And I don't know if they kind of knew everyone took the attack mode towards the end, so maybe they were thinking, oh, we can't do this, it's too early, even though they'd taken a really early attack mode with Verline to get himself into contention. But maybe they thought it was too early. But I thought there was a real opportunity for Porsche to control that race, which slipped through their fingers because the finishing positions were not great, for Porsche.
yeah, absolutely. I think Porsche did a miscalculation. Regarding qualifying, Wehrlein made a mistake in his first push lap. He had a lockup, and I think it was turn 4, turn 5. He lost more than 0.3 of a second, I think. And yeah, we saw something very special in Mexico, that the tires were not able to do 2 push laps in qualifying. All drivers who did a push lap did a cool down lap, but with the next push lap they were not able to improve their lap times. That's something that was really special in Mexico. I think it has to do with the track temperature they had, because it was really, really cold. And yeah, then Wehrlein was starting from the back, and then was the Porsche miscalculation, I think. Porsche was thinking that it was much more difficult to overtake in Mexico.
Yep.
I think they were surprised that it was so easy to overtake after the chicane was missing. And yeah, what you said, the strategical thing
Yep.
about attack mode, that's not possible, because you can't keep another car behind you and drive 1.5 seconds slower, as you can do in Monaco, for example.
Yeah.
That's not possible in Mexico, because
But
if you are 0.5 slower, then you get overtaken before the stadium, or on start-finish straight, or those
But
or before
do
turn
you think
5.
the stadium section is a good section to, just lift off the gas a little bit? Because it was probably the tightest part of the track. And also, attack mode in Mexico arguably is one of the least that you lose throughout the season, right? So you wouldn't have lost, if he was 0.7 of a second, like Muller could have potentially have done that and got in, and Pascal maybe could have tried. I know it's a really close race, but I just thought them two being so close to each other, you had the option of potentially, because you've got a 1 and 2, which could have become a 2-4 or 2-3, or a much better result, because I think Pascal Wehrlein was like 5th. I know Nico Müller was like 9th, and all of a sudden you were leading the top 2 and you're looking in a good position, and it just doesn't go your way.
Yeah, the problem is the stadium section is quite tight, but to be honest, you just have one corner in the stadium section before you have to leave the race line to take attack mode. And in this one corner, I think it's not possible to drive that slow to create a gap that's big enough that the driver in front of you keeps his position. because you lose a bit more than 7/10 of a second when going through the attack zone. But I think the main problem was that Nico Müller, I think he was leading the race 70 laps. That's nearly half the race.
Yeah.
And because of this, I think he just was over-consuming, so he had to save energy in the end. All the other drivers, for example, Cassidy, for example, Roland, for example, Dennis, they were saving energy in the slipstream, which hasn't been a big topic in Mexico in the past, but due to these changes to the track, it's got more topic, let's say that way. And I think Porsche just miscalculated that, and yeah, they were leading too much. And in P1, P2, 50% of the race, it means at the end you will not have enough energy. And yeah, then I have to say, all drivers did the same tactics. I think we had all drivers in the top 10 activating their attack modes in the last 5 or 6 laps.
Yeah.
So that in lap, I think it was 34 or 35, all drivers were on attack mode. And yeah, so you can't make any progress if the driver in front of you has 350 kilowatts and all-wheel drive too.
Yep. No, for sure. Like I fully agree, but I just think they could have got their first round of attack mode sorted, and then tried to manage the race best they can from a 1 and 2 position, and swapping between each other potentially to help with the battery management. But I understand it. The problem is with Formula E, right? It's so unpredictable and it's so crazy, right? These pack races that they are. I wouldn't want to be like in Formula 1. I feel like people can sit home and be a backseat, strategist and go, oh, I would have done this, I would have pitted here, I would have done this. In Formula E, I think that's the worst job you could possibly have as being the strategist, because no idea what is going on.
Yeah, probably. But I also have to say, Nico Müller made a mistake in the hairpin.
He did.
He lost about 1.8 seconds, I think. And yeah, it's easy to say.
He made his own attack mode.
Yeah, absolutely. But if he didn't lose this 1.8 seconds, he should have been in P5 in the end and not in P9. So yeah, it's I think it's a combination of some things that happened, and leading the whole race is wrong. Leading half of the race wasn't helpful either.
Yeah, let's talk Sebastian Buemi. Go on.
Very, very quickly, I just want to throw into this because obviously we spoke about Porsche and the whole like leading, especially for Nico Müller. But it's not like this is a one-off. It's something that they have done before. They did it in Berlin last year. They did Wehrlein led most of the race, and then he faded to, I think it was 16th. And
that was the championship day, wasn't it? It was the championship day.
The championship was decided because we all thought going into it, oh, okay, this is championship's going to London. Wehrlein led half the race in Berlin, and then fell back to 16th at the end of it. So it's something that Porsche have done before. So I'm surprised that they kind of went for it again.
I think you can't say that it's the same, because in Berlin it was another issue. In Berlin it was something tire related. Porsche had the wrong tire pressures, so they had much more tire degradation than other teams. So Whelan was not able to overtake other cars with even in attack mode at the end of the Berlin race. So I think he stayed 3 laps in attack mode behind Zane Maloney.
Yep.
And yeah, I'm sorry, but the Lola is not the fastest car.
Yep.
But you have to overtake it, even especially when you're in attack mode. But he spoke to me after the race, and he said he had really tire issues, grip issues, front axle and back axle. So he was not able to put the power on the track, even in all-wheel drive.
Yeah,
I think this had nothing to do in Mexico. We usually don't see any tire degradation at all.
Yeah, Berlin's such a unique track for that.